It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. It's your under degrees. Sip with me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea.
What's going on, Diamond Gang? I am back. I apologize for last night. I was exhausted. Exhausted. Shouts out to my moderators. Y'all right on time. If you new here, please subscribe to the channel. For the subscribers, thank you. Welcome. I got so much information. I said I was going to make this a longer live tonight because I didn't go live yesterday. So we're going to get into a couple things. Y'all know Trump said no deal. Iran asked him to remove the U.S. blockade. They would open the straits. He said no. And basically, Iran said they're pushing a hard line. They are not going to fold at all. Their supreme leader came out. He said a few things, supposedly, because, you know, he hasn't been seen. So, but someone came out and read a message by the supreme leader. So we're going to get into it. Pete Hegseth in front of Congress, he didn't do too well. You're asking for all of this money to continue to fund this war, and also to replace munitions, and he's not doing too well. So I'm going to pull up my screen, but I want to remind you guys, when we went into this war, we had 3 objectives: regime change, to weaken Iran's military power, to stop its nuclear ambition, to get the enriched uranium. And now, at this point, we are now asking for them to open the straits. So that's added onto the list. We are now 62 days in, and our goals have not been accomplished, and they have shifted multiple times. So now our goal, our main goal, is to get the Iranians to open up the Straits of Hormuz. But it's crazy because we're trying to get them to do that by blocking their blockade and potentially extending the U.S. blockade. So without further ado, let me make myself a little smaller so we could get into some things. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
As in every single war, the U.S. public has been given a distorted picture from the start. And this always happens where initially there's a rosy picture, everything is going great. On top of concealing the...
See, Trump thought this was going to be quick, sharp, and brief. No. And potentially the ceasefire may end within the next day or two.
Damage to U.S. military bases in the region. There also were all these claims that Iran's military has been completely wiped out and they've lost all their capacity. Now the same sorts of disclosures are coming out where, in fact, Iran's maintained its military deterrent, its military capacity. And that's one of the reasons why Trump is in the box he's in, is because Iran has shown itself to be resilient. So this is the pattern we get every single time. Initially, everyone is gung-ho, rallying around the flag, repeating all the claims that the Pentagon tells them. But you can't sustain these fictions forever. And we're seeing now, after just a few months, that the facade...
62 days in, y'all. We are 62 days in.
...that Trump has erected to justify this war of aggression is slowly eroding.
We have some news.
Now, let me tell you something. Yesterday morning, he totally crashed out. He threatened the Iranians, saying they have to get their act together. So let's get into it.
Right now, Donald Trump, again, overnight decided to cosplay as a Secret Service agent with a firearm, saying no more Mr. Nice Guy. Iran has to get their act together. They better get smart soon. Another threat from the president of the United States. But a lot of these threats are kind of empty threats at this point.
That part, they're not budging. They're not moving because he tried to use this as a tactic to get them to come to the table. They are over it. They're over it.
Iran doesn't really believe in anything the president says. And it's actually interesting because it comes as Reuters is now reporting that top U.S. officials and intelligence officials are actually actively examining what Iran's would be Iran's response would be if President Trump just decided to unilaterally pull out of the war in Iran, unilaterally declare victory. Why? Because polling for the president on this war in Iran is not.
Listen, he was using these threats as a strategy. It was an epic failure, and he's rejected Iran's offer to open the straits. They basically countered with a threat. So let's go.
Good. And so now, despite Trump's No More Mr. Nice Guy Act, which is what he's posting on Truth Social, the United States is actively looking for a way out of this war, and he doesn't really want to talk about it. So let's see what happens next. Spread the word. Follow along.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that, and I'm going to show you a piece. I think that Trump should have offered this to them versus them offering it to us. He should have said, okay, boom, we'll move our blockade if, but he was not thinking. He wasn't thinking.
Update on all the news you need to know about. There'll be more to come soon.
Major news as it looks like it's back to war. Trump has rejected Iran's proposal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and has said he's going to launch a small round of powerful strikes against Iran, probably towards critical infrastructure. And he posted this. Yes, this is an actual post from the President of the United States. This is not normal. We cannot normalize this. This is someone who is clearly.
Listen, like I said, these threats is getting ridiculous, and the Iranians are not taking any of them seriously at all. Again, he tried to use this as a strategy to get them to the table or to get them or force them to do what he wants. It's not working.
Gone fucking insane. He says Iran can't get their act together. They don't know how to sign a non-nuclear deal. They better get smart soon. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Trump is now preparing for an extended blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. The price.
Listen, he extend that blockade. The price of gas is going to go up. I don't see an end to this anytime soon.
Of oil per barrel is over $107. Oh, and the United Arab Emirates left OPEC yesterday and OPEC Plus. Hardly anyone's talking about this. This is just creating more destabilization, but this could potentially bring oil prices down, according to some experts, but no one knows for sure. Let me know what you think about this.
We talked about OPEC and the UAE leaving and how maybe potentially the gas can go down.
And I'll see you back here for the 411.
Donald Trump had a middle-of-the-night meltdown during which he posted unhinged threats.
I've said this numerous times. This is no way to negotiate over social media. If we want to be taken serious, this is not the way.
To Iran at 4 a.m. He is up all night. Who the hell is running the country if he is up all night sitting on his bed or toilet or wherever, putting out unhinged threats like this? Trump in the middle of an ongoing conflict with Iran, which, by the way,
this is one of the reasons why the negotiations have failed. He's thinking out loud. And in these next couple of clips, I'm going to show you guys just how much he's talking.
Gas prices up again, now at their highest point in years. Today, $4.23 a gallon. Trump posts and says, Iran can't get their act together. They don't know how to sign a non-nuclear deal. They better get smart soon. With an image that shows Trump where.
Listen, they said you remove your blockade, we open up the straits, and then we can come to the table to talk about the nuclear deal. Now they say
wearing a black suit.
Now they are saying all bets are off. We're going to keep it. So they went from we could talk about it to threatening us, saying, no, we're going to keep it. We're going to keep the uranium.
A firearm with all sorts of explosions in the background in what I think is supposed to be a sort of stylized image of Iran. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Trump threatening Iran with more violence. Now look at the timing. Conflict is escalating again because all of the things Trump told us aren't all set. Strikes, tensions, multiple countries are getting sucked in. Reports of this
multiple countries. And what I have next for you guys is going to blow your mind.
New peace proposal that we simply can't get over the line. And the messaging really matters here. What does Trump do? He posts an AI image of himself with a gun like he's an action star at 4:05 in the morning. What is going on? And I'm reminded of the breathless Joe Biden can't do it anymore. Joe Biden shouldn't have run for re-election.
Diamond Gang, please, 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 thank you as you come in. Can you please hit the like? It keeps me in the algorithm. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned. All opinions here will be respected. You just cannot be disrespectful. If you have an opposing opinion, I'm fine with that. You can say what you want because you are entitled to feel how you want. You're entitled to have an opinion. So it can be opposing to mine. You just got to misspell curse words and just don't be too disrespectful. Thank you.
Joe Biden has declined over the last 10 years, but Joe Biden knew what was going on in his administration. He knew the status of negotiations. He wasn't up at 4 a.m. posting AI slop threats to foreign nations on any.
I'm going to be honest. We could have been somewhere if it was not for him negotiating via social media
platform, never mind Truth Social or Twitter. Trump turns a geopolitical crisis into something that looks more like a campaign ad or a meme. And there is a difference between, hey, we want to signal strength. We don't want to seem to be pushovers. And even pacifists would understand that it is not a good negotiating position to appear to be a pushover, to appear to be weak. Sure, that's fine.
That part. I'm perfectly fine. Do I want the U.S. to look like a pushovers? No, but there's a way to go about this. This is not it. This is not the way.
But there's a difference between that and this performative nonsense. The way that serious leaders signal strength is measured language, coordination, competence. The thing that projects strength the most is when other countries look in at the United States and they go, wow, they're really operating competently. They really seem to know every one of our moves, and they are soberly and rationally prepared. Seeing an unhinged orange guy posting AI threats at 4:05 a.m. does not communicate in any way that you are a serious administration. And unfortunately, this is not a serious administration.
President. Now, like I said, the online negotiations, him going to the internet every 5 minutes, it is hurting us tremendously.
Trump talks too much publicly. He says one thing one day, one thing the next day. One day he's sending the negotiators, the next day he's not. And that is causing a huge amount of basically muddle in the public space.
It looks like we don't have it together at all. They are not taking us serious at all.
And most seasoned negotiators and mediators, as you know, and I know from covering it, say, look, just do these things behind closed doors. It's in nobody's interest to put everything out there all the time. Yeah, people want to spin and this and that, but this isn't spin. This is literally like 100.
Right before I came on, I found out, and I was not able to get this clip, but because Hegseth is with Congress, the military is updating him right now. Right now as we speak, they're talking about our next move.
180 degrees one way one day, 180 degrees the other way another day, and is causing a lot of angst. And it's been reported, for instance, that J.D. Vance, in the failed negotiations, or the ones that didn't bear fruit that he was at, had talked about a 20-year moratorium on Iran suspending its enrichment, only for Trump to then come out publicly and said, oh, no, indefinitely. So those are just, a couple of examples.
That part. Never let your left hand know what the right hand is doing. He announces everything. Now, this clip, I'm going to show you guys just how much he talks.
Donald Trump claims that the king agrees with him that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. Why is that controversial? Well, first of all, it breaks a convention that you don't tell what the king says to you in private.
Did you hear that? It breaks a convention. You don't tell. Okay, let's go.
But also, it risks dragging the king into the Middle East war. As it is, it's not that diplomatically controversial or embarrassing because the king essentially is reflecting the long-standing position of British governments that it's probably better that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. It's not the same as the king saying, perhaps, that he supports America's war on Iran. So, once again, Donald Trump has broken yet another convention, and perhaps the king might be a bit more guarded next time.
Just talking, telling everything. And then right after this, the White House goes and posts those two in a picture side by side, calling them kings.
Time he talks to the president.
That says two kings. Donald Trump, you're not the king.
What's your reaction to that post from the White House?
Oh, wait, the White House posted that. That's crazy. I thought somebody else did.
Well, no, this is absolutely ridiculous.
No, that's horrible. We don't have any kings here.
I would like to see both of them out of public view.
My guess is Trump is saying to the king, everybody says, I'm such a better king than you are.
They're playing into it. They're trying to appeal to probably Gen Z.
Do you think that that's a playful post?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yes and no. I mean, it's playful, but
They didn't think it was funny at all.
I'm sure he means it.
What do you think about the system of having a king in general?
I love the pomp and circumstance of the monarchy.
I don't agree with it. Whatever floats their boat, I guess, but I feel like I'm a strong believer in democracy and stuff like that.
I mean, it's England, so I kind of feel like our justice system operates differently.
So, my wife and I are watching The Crown, and we're only at season 5, which means he's not king yet. So he's still prince, and the queen is still the queen.
Are you guys excited for the king to visit New York?
I was just like, oh my God, King Carlos is here. King Charles, I love you so much, and you're such a great person.
Not really.
Didn't know anything about it.
I'm excited. Anytime we get a little royalty in America, it's a great thing to have.
Not particularly, but now that I like the show, then I want to go see him.
Is that why you're wearing the London sweatshirt today, to celebrate the royal visit?
That's exactly why I'm wearing it today.
And are you as excited?
I'm excited for him to go home. It's a republic.
They did not want the prince here. The king here.
It's on a monarchy. He shouldn't even be here.
Any thoughts on the monarchy?
You should be at our dinner table.
All right, back to business. I thought that little part was cute. Diamond Gang, please hit the like. It helps me stay in the algorithm, and it's free. So now Trump wants to extend this blockade. If he extends this blockade, this can go on for months. He believes that if he does this, Iran will eventually back down and agree to everything. It's not going to happen.
Donald Trump is now planning to extend the U.S. naval blockade on the Strait of Hormuz for months or maybe even longer, until Iran agrees to everything he wants them to agree to. He even met with major U.S. oil executives who are profiting off of all of this to discuss his idea, and they of course supported it. His goal is to keep squeezing Iran's economy and oil exports. He believes resuming bombing or walking away from the conflict could pose a higher risk than maintaining the blockade.
Now that I don't think that we should walk away, however, from the conflict, we need to get negotiations going.
This will, of course, send gas prices in the United States even higher, but we have to protect Donald Trump's ego and make him feel like he's winning this war. He also met with U.S. oil companies to discuss this plan. Remember, in the past, they proposed ideas like releasing 400 million barrels from our emergency reserves and easing sanctions on Russian oil. But we've already released 80.
That's another thing. Sanctions on Russia. That expires. We lifted the sanctions, and that expires May 16th. I can guarantee y'all, and I'm going to show y'all why, that he's going to go ahead and do it a third time for them.
Million barrels of oil to offset the losses from the Strait of Hormuz being closed. We've also already extended our sanctions relief on Russian oil that we set in March. Now it's set to expire May 16th. But despite all of the pain this is causing the American people, the oil executives who are profiting off of this have encouraged Trump to maintain the blockade.
Breaking news as Trump has notified officials to prepare for an extended blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, meaning oil will not be moving through the region. And this comes as oil is now over 105 a barrel, surging once again.
Listen, gang, the UAE leaving OPEC, it may give us a little relief, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
And the average price of gasoline is now $4.23 a gallon in the country. And in California, we're seeing prices now above $7 a gallon. Guys, this is not sustainable. The last time something similar to this happened was the oil embargo of 1973. And it wasn't until 6 months later during that one that things hit their peak. The oil prices surged 6 months later.
Even if things was to stop today or tomorrow, we still wouldn't see it lower for a good while.
To their peak, and that's when the effects were really felt. And this situation is far worse. Much more oil is coming from the Middle East than it was back then. So this could be much, much worse. We don't even know exactly how bad it could get. We are in
Diamond Gang, I got 224, 234 in the building, 13 likes. Please, 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 can you hit the like? Please and thank you. It is free. It is free. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned. I don't want to keep stopping asking for likes. I don't. But it helps me stay in the algorithm. I take a lot of time to put this together, to present what I see, the picture that I see. Like I said, all opinions will be respected in this chat, even if it's opposing to mine. All I'm asking for is a like. That's it. That's all. Thank you.
Uncharted territory here. So right now, if you think gas is expensive where you're at, just get prepared because it could go a lot higher. Let me know what you think about this. What amount of gas is too high for you per gallon? What's the breaking point for you? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
Now, Diamond Gang, after Trump put those threats out, right after, guess who called him? Putin. He was on the phone for an hour with Putin. Now, mind you, Putin Monday met with the foreign minister of Iran and doubled down and said that we support you, we will help you, we will be there in regards to the conflict in the war. He gets a call from Putin. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Hey, this is breaking news. The Kremlin says that Russian President Vladimir Putin held a more than hour-and-a-half-long phone call with President Trump in which he warned him that a ground operation against Iran would be completely unacceptable and dangerous.
Did y'all hear that? We're going to get into it. He literally was on the phone with him. Something happened after that, which is fishy. And we'll get into that too.
Trump just got off a 90-minute phone call with Vladimir Putin, where Vladimir Putin has suggested a ceasefire for one day on May 9th. All the information we're getting is from the Kremlin spokesperson, Yuri Yushakov, so take everything we say with a grain of salt, but in it they talk about many different things. In the discussion, Putin had proposed what they're calling, quote, a truce for the period of Victory Day, which is observed on May 9th instead of Russia. And according to the Russian officials, President Trump expressed support for this proposal. Kremlin says that...
Now let me say this, Trump is up next. He had a whole different story. He told a whole different story. I got 321 in the building, 19 likes. Can I get at least 20 more likes, please and thank you? They are free. Thank you. He tells a whole different story, and I'll let you guys listen to that.
Donald Trump reportedly stated that the deal to end the war is, quote, already close. While Putin used the conversation to repeat claims of terrorist methods that Ukrainians are doing inside of Russia, referring to the fact that Ukraine keeps taking out Russian oil, then insisted that the Russian goals of achieving the military special operation will be achieved. Essentially still hardlining in all the main talking points they've been saying for the past 4 years. Ceasefire, by the way, is nothing new. Russia tries to do this every single year. It essentially makes Russia appear that they're always open to negotiations without actually making any concessions when it comes to negotiations. If you remember last year, Zelensky.
Let me say this. This next clip, Trump comes out. He said he talked to Putin. He told Putin, worry about ending your own war with Ukraine, who is one of our allies. I don't know what this bromance is between him and Putin, but in my opinion, it's strange. It's not a good look. And we'll get into why it's not a good look in a minute.
He said, why don't we make it a 30-day ceasefire? Actually, Putin wanted a 72-hour one back then, and Putin rejected that. Ultimately, Putin just wants peace on May 9th so he doesn't look bad on the day of victory while they're actively in a war. As soon as we hear from Donald Trump on this conversation or Zelensky, I'll be sure to let you know. So please do share this video and follow me for more.
You spoke to Vladimir Putin not too long ago. Did you talk to him?
Now listen up. Let's listen to what he had to say.
About today. Did you talk to him about the progress in the space area? And what else did you talk to him?
Again, Monday, he was with the foreign prime minister of Iran. I showed you guys the clips. He vowed to help Iran. They've already been giving them intelligence. They supplying them with drones, conversating and making deals with Putin, and then talking about exiting Germany, Italy. This is a mess.
Talk about space. No, I talked about Ukraine.
And again, he lifted the sanctions, which is due to expire May 16th. I guarantee you guys that he is going to reinstate it for them.
I talked a little bit about Iran. I talked about a few different subjects, mostly about Ukraine. And we had a very good conversation.
He said a little bit about Iran. I'm thinking a lot. You came on True Social. You threaten them, and then you get a call from Putin.
Conversation. I think we're going to come up with a solution relatively quickly, I hope.
What does he want?
I think you'd like to see a solution, I can tell you, and that's good.
What involvement does he want to have in the Iran situation?
He told me he'd like to be involved with the enrichment if he can help us get it. I said, I'd much rather have you be involved with ending the war with Ukraine. To me.
So he stepped up for Iran with the quickness, like he said he was Monday when I showed you guys that clip. Putin said he was.
That would be more important because we're gonna have that. Look, we're not going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon, and we've knocked out their navy, we've knocked out their air force, we've knocked out their anti-aircraft.
That's one thing about President Trump. He's going to stick to his story. He's been saying this for a while. We went over how much we were depleted and what their stockpile still had. They are still well off. If we were to get into another conflict with another country, we will be in trouble. That's how much munitions we have depleted.
Everything, apparatus, everything they have, their radar, they have very little left. And they have some missiles, a small percentage.
Later on, when I played the clips from Hegseth meeting with Congress, you guys are going to find out this war is costing us way more than what they're putting out there. I got almost 400 people in the building with 25 likes. I'm not starting nothing else. Please and thank you. Hit the like for me, please and thank you. It helps keep me in the algorithm. I hate to keep stopping to ask for likes. I got so much information that I need to go over. I'm doing possibly a 3-hour live, but I will cut it short. The likes are free. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel. I give updates on a regular basis, at least 4 times a week.
They have a small percentage of missile-making facilities, 80% of them. The rest could come very quickly if we don't make a deal.
For those that hit the like, I appreciate you. It takes a long time, all day, for me to get this together to convey what I see that's going on from my view, my eyes. So thank you very much for hitting the like. I appreciate it.
They're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They know it, and just about everybody else does. And so we talked about that a little bit. He doesn't want to see them have a nuclear weapon either. But I had a long talk with President Putin. I think
he doesn't want to see them with a nuclear weapon. However, they are supplying them with drones and intelligence. Make it make sense. This right here is not making sense.
suggested a little bit of a ceasefire, and I think he might do that. He might announce something having to do with that. Did he announce it yet?
No, but I was wondering, I was just going to ask you.
No, I asked him about, even if it's a little ceasefire, there's so many people being killed, it's so ridiculous.
I don't understand how President Trump can continue to do favors to Vladimir.
Now we're getting ready to get into why it's not a good look for him to have this bromance with Putin.
Putin, he just let a Russian oligarch go through this blockade. Putin met with the foreign minister of Iran. Diplomatically speaking, he meets with heads of state. He doesn't meet with foreign ministers. He chose to have that meeting. I mean, these are countries that are helping each other.
Bingo. Helping each other against us. Against us. And you decide to consult with him and have an hour and a half phone call. I said 90 minutes. They stated an hour and a half.
And it's time, I think, for President Trump and his administration to understand that basic fact.
President Trump said yesterday that he had actually rejected an Iranian proposal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, get oil tankers flowing again, because he said it would have put off an agreement about Iran's nuclear program until later. Trump insisted.
He said that he wanted the Iranians to scream, "Uncle." That's what he said. He wants to break them.
Said the U.S. blockade is going to remain in place for now and that he has the upper hand. He discussed all of this with the crew of Artemis II arrayed behind him.
It takes people like this to make our country great.
It was an Oval Office event meant to celebrate Artemis II's successful mission around the moon. But the conversation quickly veered to pressing issues back here on Earth, including the impasse in Iran.
They have to cry uncle. That's all they have to do. Just say, we give up. We give up at their economy.
And remember, guys, I told you that they have nowhere to store this oil. President Trump is banking on this to fall. Because if it doesn't, he thinks that he said a couple of days ago, they only have 3 days. According to reports, they have about 2 more weeks. And then they won't have anywhere to store this oil. However, Saudi Arabia will collapse. He's not mentioning that.
Is really in trouble.
The U.S. economy is suffering too, with gas prices jumping 7 cents in just one day to an average of $4.30 a gallon. Global oil prices climbed above $120 per barrel Wednesday, the highest since 2022, as investors came to terms with the possibility of a months-long disruption to supply.
It hasn't even peaked yet.
The Federal Reserve declined to lower interest rates Wednesday, with Chairman Jerome Powell citing the rising cost of gas.
Remember, when gas prices go up, that's disposable income coming out of people's pockets, so they're going to spend less on other things.
With the U.S. and Iran both claiming to control the Strait of Hormuz, shipping traffic has fallen to 5% of its normal levels. In a social media post, Trump warned Iran, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
He got real sassy yesterday.
brandishing a weapon in this AI image. There are no talks currently scheduled, though Trump insisted he can get a deal done by phone.
The blockade has been 100% foolproof. It shows how good our
Here's the thing. He could get a deal done by phone. They're not meeting with him at all until he removes the U.S. blockade. They have proven that more than once already. Good luck with the deal by phone.
Navy is, I can tell you that. Nobody's going to play games.
Germany's chancellor has a very different view. He said a few days ago that the Americans obviously have no strategy for exiting this 9-week war. Well, on Wednesday.
Now, because Germany said that, now he's talking about pulling from all of our allies. We will be alienated when this is all said and done.
In what appeared to be a tit for tat, Trump announced he's now considering pulling some U.S. troops out of Germany.
This is breaking news. President Trump says the United States is studying a possible drawdown.
Here's the thing. He's not going to be, if he removes some, it's going to be very little. We have equipment over there. It's going to be harder than what he's saying. It's not that easy. It is not that easy to pull troops.
Of troops in Germany. This after Germany's chancellor said Iran was humiliating the United States.
We have some news right now. Donald Trump is furious this morning at ABC News, at Republicans in Congress.
This is later on in the day. This is his second crash out today. Diamond Gang, I got 336 in the building. Can I get 20 more likes, please and thank you? Please and thank you.
And at Germany, he's lashing out on Truth Social right now in multiple ways. At Republicans, he says, how much abuse can Republicans take from the radical left lunatics in the form of Democrat senators before they blow up the filibuster and approve things at a record clip? The Dems will do it in the first hour of their first day. Don't be stupid. He's mad that Republicans won't get rid of the filibuster. He's also mad at the Chancellor of Germany, who called out Donald Trump's lack of leadership when it came to Iran, saying he should spend more time on ending the war with Russia, Ukraine, and fixing his broken country. And then he's also mad at ABC News, saying that when is ABC fake news network firing seriously unfunny Jimmy Kimmel, who incompetently presides over one of the lowest rated shows on
Again, this is his second crash out today.
Television. People are angry. It better be soon. President is sitting in the Oval Office or in the White House right now, just lashing out. Spread the word. Follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. More to come soon.
Now we're going to, in this clip, he's going to talk about pulling from Germany, Italy, from NATO, Spain. Here's the thing. We're going to get into why it looks strange and that it's not a good look, because if he does this, this will ultimately help Russia. This will help Russia, not us, but Russia.
You talked about possibly pulling out some troops out of Germany. Would you be considering the same thing for Spain and Italy?
So you wake up in the morning, you threaten to bomb the Iranians and tell them they better get it together. You get a call by Putin. He put you in check. You delay the strikes. And now you're talking about pulling allies, pulling troops, separating from our allies, which will ultimately, again, help Russia.
I mean, they haven't been exactly on board.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I probably will. Why should I? Look, why shouldn't I? Italy has not been of any help to us. And
listen, there was no threat. They didn't go to Congress. They didn't consult with our allies. Before any of this, the straits was opened. He never thought that they would close it. Why? Because he was being advised from Kushner, Witkoff, not the military.
Spain has been horrible, absolutely horrible. It's NATO. It's not even the fact that they're bad. It's one thing they said nicely. or if they said, okay, we'll help.
Why would they say nicely or well, okay, we'll help and be slow on the help? That's a lie. Who does that? Him.
But the help's a little slow, but the level, and we helped them with Ukraine. You know, they made a mess out of Ukraine, a total mess. And we helped them with Ukraine. Ukraine has nothing to do, you know, we're an ocean apart. It has to do with them. It's like for them, it's their front door. We help them. And
when this is all said and done, we won't have any allies. And that's the truth.
And Biden gave them $350 billion, which was insane. It's one of the reasons the war went on. But when we needed them, they were not there. We have to remember that. And so if we ever have a big one.
They didn't make this mess. They did not make this mess. Everything was fine.
Because we didn't need any help with Iran. We had Iran right.
If we didn't need the help, why did you ask? He's going to say, because I wanted to see what they would say. Who does that? Who does that?
Right from the first day, it was over. It was over. And now it's even more so. We're so locked and loaded if we want to do. But we didn't need the help. And to a certain
that part, NATO is a defense alliance. Exactly. We went over there. They didn't come here like 9/11. But he does not understand that. He doesn't know what that means. He doesn't know what it means. This is crazy.
To an extent, I asked him, I didn't need the help, but I said, yeah, we'd love to have you help because I wanted to see if they do it. And they, in all cases, they said.
That part, don't need help, but kept begging. Kept begging. Diamond Gang, please, please, please hit the like, please. This channel is not monetized. Likes take me a long way.
We don't want to get involved. And you know, the amazing thing is they use the Strait of Hormuz. We don't. We don't use it. We don't need it. We have a lot of oil. And, well, wait a minute. And they use it. We don't. And you would have thought they would have said, we would love to help you. But they didn't, which I think was a verse. And Germany, I mean, he's doing a terrible job. He's got immigration problems. He's got energy problems. He's got problems of all kinds. And he's got a big problem with Ukraine because they're in that mess. And he criticized me for doing the whole thing with Iran. But I said, would you like to have a nuclear weapon?
Here's the thing. When you have two different agendas, Israel had their own. We went in to help them. The first thing is regime change. You wanted this to be quick and easy. Never say regime change. We had objectives that we have still yet to conquer. Now we've added on another objective, which is open the straits.
In the hands of Iran? He said, no, I don't. I said, well, then I guess I'm right. He didn't have any answer to that. The bottom line is for this world, for our country.
I can't wait till we get to Hegseth's part because he couldn't answer not one straight question. He deflected and went all the way around, like just like Pam Bondi, like just like Kristi Noem. You know, it's the same old, same old.
Certainly for Israel, the Middle East, and Europe, much closer. You cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And if you agree that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, which
he tore up Obama's deal, but trying to mimic Obama's deal. Now it's like, how can you get them to the table to sign the deal that you just tore up? How?
Most people agree, almost everybody. It should have been done a long time ago. But if you agree they can't have a nuclear weapon, then what
Rodney, who you talking to? Did you serve this country? If not, shut the F up. I did serve. I'm military. Army. This is one of the reasons why I served during Desert Storm. Anybody else? I'll drop the link early tonight, the way that I feel.
Has been executed perfectly because our military has decimated them.
The U.S. relationship with Germany.
I'm going to say this again. You can have opposing opinions. You just can't be disrespectful over here. The moment you are disrespectful, you will be removed. That's it. That's all. As adults, we could agree to disagree. If you can't take this commentary, then this is not the live stream for you. Exit. That's all. Just leave. There's millions of people that's streaming right now.
Has taken a catastrophic turn after Chancellor Friedrich Merz made a speech earlier in the week saying that the United States was being humiliated by Iran.
It's just true.
Saying that he believes that the United States and Israel began their war on Iran on February the 28th without any
62 days in. We are 62 days in.
Kind of plan. He sees no strategy whatsoever, no strategic plan on the part of the United States to find an off-ramp to this conflict.
We have no off-ramp. None.
And that, of course, is now leading directly to the president threatening to reduce the size of the American troop force. There are 36,000 American troops stationed in Germany, 6 separate garrisons, 40 separate military installations. This is exactly the kind of move you would be taking.
Which, again, if he pulls, it's going to be very little because of the logistics of it all. Because of the equipment, because of stuff, things that we have over there, it's going to be very few.
Not only if you wanted to punish the...
Not only that, Germany right now is in the process of building up their military so that they can send other troops back.
German Chancellor, but if you wanted to begin the process of withdrawing from NATO, and of course, parenthetically, you wanted to deliver a massive win for Russian President Vladimir Putin.
So today...
Now, we're going to get into why this looks crazy, why this is a win for Russia if he does decide to pull troops. Let's go. Diamond Gang, I got 45 likes. Please, please, please hit the like. Let me get 55 more likes, please, and thank you. I got 241 in the building. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Donald Trump had a 90-minute phone call with Vladimir Putin. The same Vladimir Putin that has been giving coordinates to Iran about locations of strategic American assets in the Middle East so that they can have accurate fire on those assets, killing some Americans and destroying a ton of equipment. The same Russia, of course, invading Ukraine, one of our best allies in Eastern Europe. He had a 90-minute phone call with him and just put out a truce.
That's where I got the 90-minute phone call. Let's go, Diamond Gang.
Social post that said the U.S. is considering withdrawing all troops from Germany. Now, let me say something very clear here. The United States has troops in Germany for a serious reason. Beyond that, the fact that Donald Trump would talk with Vladimir Putin for 90 minutes, the same Vladimir Putin killing Americans, and then do this means clearly.
Again, sanctions have been lifted off of Russia, which expires May 16th. Russia is supplying Iran with drones and intelligence.
There is something going on between Trump and Putin. Now, I get it. The right is going to say, oh, you guys with your Russia, Russia, Russia. Well, listen, at some point, Russia, Russia, Russia is because there has been this weird, intense bromance between Putin and Trump. Putin is in charge of a failing country right now. They have a GDP equivalent to Italy. They rely totally on energy, and that's it. And they have been an enemy of the United States For whatever reason, there's this bromance that exists. And it is time for Republicans in office, you know, the ones who tweet their concerns sometimes and they say like, oh gosh, it's very concerning what's happening. It is time for those Republicans to finally have the courage to not just tweet, to speak out and shut down the floor of the House of Representatives until you get answers or assurances, period. This is the same Trump, by the way, that only today released the $400 million that was granted by Congress to Ukraine because he was called out about it. I don't know what's going on.
And I'm with him on that. I agree 100%. You don't have to agree with me, but this is insane. And I guarantee you, May 16th, he will renew that agreement of lifting those sanctions off of Russia again.
It's even worse than what I even imagined. But to talk to Putin and then talk about removing our troops from Germany is the weakest thing a president of the United States has ever done.
That will be a win for Russia.
So all you MAGA out there that talk about strength, you're wrong. This is the weakest guy that has ever served in that office.
Iran's supreme leader says the only place Americans should be.
Now, we're going to get into Iran's threat. They are standing 10 toes down. They said they will not open the straits until we move the U.S. blockade. They are keeping their enriched uranium. So they countered our threat with a threat of their own.
In the Persian Gulf is at the bottom of its waters. And this was apparently a written statement from Mojtaba Khamenei that was read out on Iranian TV, but
let me take that back.
Is the weakest guy that has ever served in that office.
Iran's supreme leader says the only place Americans should be in the Persian Gulf is at the bottom of its waters. And this was apparently a written statement from Mojtaba Khamenei that was read out on Iranian TV, but it's
we don't know who's saying this. He hasn't been seen. They said he was badly injured.
Still can't be confirmed if it's actually from him because he still has not shown his face after reports out that he was badly wounded in a strike early in the war that killed his father, the last Ayatollah, along with several members of his family. Now, the message also said that the future of the Persian Gulf will be a future without America and that foreigners have no place in it. He also appeared to say that Iran would not give up its nuclear program or its control over the Strait of Hormuz. One line here said that 90 million proud and honorable Iranians inside and outside the country regard all of Iran's.
So this is going to escalate. What other way is there? Both sides are not willing to come to the table to discuss anything. And now they're starting to threaten us.
Capacities, including nuclear and missile capabilities, as national assets, and that they will protect them. So this is not a statement that says, let's figure this out in talks. This would appear to be.
Remember, he said they were dying to make a deal. This doesn't sound like it.
A further hardening of the Iranian line, and it doesn't make any mention of negotiations or even really of any compromise. I read it to be a message as much for the Iranian people to be unified in the face of the aggressor, the United States, as much as it is for President Trump himself. This, of course, is not what he wants, not what members of his cabinet wants, like Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. We heard from him earlier this week. He said again that Iran's nuclear program needs to be on the table if any new talks do happen. But those talks,
let's get the straits open first,
are at a standstill.
And Iran's new supreme leader is making new threats against the U.S. In a new statement, the Ayatollah says U.S. ships have no place in the Persian Gulf except, quote, in the depths of its waters. He's also taking a hard line on the country's nuclear program, saying Iran will protect its nuclear and missile capabilities. Tom, the supreme leader says a new chapter is emerging in the Strait of Hormuz. What do you think he means by that?
Well, I think it's always quite difficult to know exactly what the Iranian leadership means in a comment like that. I think what the suggestion is that Iran, and this has been muted by Iranian officials before, that they might hope in the future to charge ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. But I think the wider point here is that Iran is doubling down, firstly over its control of that critical waterway. We've been hearing from Rebecca there about the impact that is having on the global economy and gas prices in the US.
We will not see relief for a very long time. And actually, it's going to trigger other things.
But also on the red lines in the negotiations. The Iranians are doubling down on the idea that they would give up their nuclear program, that they would give up their missile program. And it's a defiant message. Yes, we're not seeing Mojtaba Khamenei again. We're not hearing his voice. We believe, and US officials have said this repeatedly, that he was badly injured in missile strikes by the US and Israel at the beginning of the war, which killed his father. But it is a sign that the negotiations are going nowhere and Iran remains defiant. And while it's got a stranglehold over the Strait of Hormuz, it believes at least it can outlast the US and not be forced into a deal which it feels it could not.
And that's what it's going to be. That is exactly it. It's like I said, Trump believes that they only have days until they don't have anywhere to ship to store their oil. Report says that they have a couple of weeks. So.
Accept.
This is breaking news. Iran's president just gave first public indications.
Now, their president is saying a whole different story. He's saying that it's intolerable. So let's hear.
That the U.S. naval blockade is having an impact. What is being done under the guise of a naval blockade is an extension of military operations against a nation paying the price for its resistance and independence. Continuation of this oppressive approach is intolerable.
Here's what the military leaders would have told the president.
Now, had Trump been advised by the military and not Hegseth, not Witkoff, and not Kushner, this is exactly what they would have told him. And I got this piece specifically because he was not advised by anybody in the military when it came to this.
President from the very beginning. They would have said, look, changing regimes is hard. So if you think by bombing them, they're all the same.
That part, when you hear regime change, that don't happen overnight. It don't. It's very hard. Those wars are forever wars.
I'm going to give up. Probably not going to happen. Particularly in Iran, the regime is wide and it is deep. So taking out the supreme leader just means...
It is very wide and deep. I actually showed you guys about a month ago a breakdown of their military, how they operate, as far as their line of succession, commands, is deep.
Means that somebody else is going to step up. And oh, by the way, you took out an 86-year-old man, now you got a 56-year-old man. And even according to Israeli intelligence, the new regime is even more hardline. So they would have told him, the military would have told the president, regime change is hard. The military would have also said, we've never bombed our way to victory. So in no point in time in the history of the military have we bombed our way to victory.
Did y'all hear that? No way in any point in time have we ever, as the U.S., bombed our way to victory. This is exactly what this administration thought they were going to do. Bomb their way to victory.
It was going to be hard. The final thing they would have also said, look, if you think there's going to be this uprising and we'll have a Jeffersonian democracy, that's probably not going to happen. It could, but it's unlikely. But the one thing they would absolutely positively have...
Y'all ready for this? Remember I said this? 2 different objectives and no backup plan. They had no backup plan. They never thought that they was going to close the straits. They had no plans. Well, what if they close the strait? What is our next, plan? They didn't think of that.
Told the president is you never, ever, ever, ever talk about Iran without talking about the Straits of Hormuz. They would have told the president, as soon as you start bombing Iran, they are going to do what they can to close the Straits of Hormuz.
Let me take that back one more time. Diamond Gang, did y'all hear that? I need y'all to hit the like. I got 52 likes. Can y'all please get me to at least 75 likes? Please and thank you. So y'all just heard what he said, right? Y'all just heard what he said. Let's go. Take it back a little bit.
Look, changing regimes is hard. So if you think by bombing them, they're all of a sudden going to give up, probably not going to happen. Particularly in Iran, the regime is wide and it is deep. So taking out the supreme leader just means that somebody else is going to step up. And oh, by the way, you took out an 86-year-old.
I told you that. When you take out their leader, that makes them even more dangerous because they don't have nobody to tell them to stop. Right? Nobody. They just their whole setup has no stop button. It's just go, 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 go. There is no stop button with them.
Man, now you got a 56-year-old man. And even according to Israeli intelligence, the new regime is even more hardline. So they would have told him, the military would have told the president, regime change is hard. The military would have also said, we've never bombed our way to victory. So in no point in time in the history of the military, we bombed our way to victory. It was going to be hard. The final thing they would have also said, look, if you think there's going to be this uprising and we'll have a Jeffersonian democracy, that's probably not going to happen. It could, but it's unlikely. But the one thing they would absolutely positively have told the president is you never, ever, ever, ever talk about Iran without talking about the Strait of Hormuz. They would have told the president, as soon as you start bombing Iran, they are going to do what they can to close the Straits of Hormuz. And clearly they have done that. So now the question is, going forward, where do we go? Well,
bingo. No plan B. And I've been saying this for I've been talking about this since maybe the first week. No plan.
The Iranians have come forward and they said, if you will lift the blockade, that we will open the straits. I've been saying for the last several weeks that this is something the president should have put on the table.
Boom. I said that in the beginning of the live. This is something that President Trump should have put on the table for them. He blew it. He gave it to them. This is when you go in with no strategy. Let's go.
He should have told the Iranians, I will lift the blockade if you will open the straits. Because he's got to think about what are his strategic goals at this point in time. The world economy is getting crushed. And the only way it's going to pick up is if we can open the straits. Unfortunately, now that the Iranians have come forward with this offer, I'm not sure the president will buy it. But the blockade, he can turn the blockade on, turn the blockade off. He should seriously consider this offer from the Iranians.
Bingo. And then open the straits. We could talk about everything else at a later date. Nope. His way or the highway.
War criminal.
Now we're getting ready to get into Pete Hegseth in front of Congress. He didn't do too well, but let's go, Diamond Gang.
You're the Department of War Crimes. Why did you order the bombing of the girls' school in Iran? Why have you been the illegal attacks that have been killing fishermen in the Caribbean and Pacific? Why are you continuing this war? You deserve this. You deserve to be arrested. You deserve to be arrested.
Have you no shame?
You deserve it.
You are a war criminal, and you will be tried. You should be disgusted with yourself. How many American service members have to die for Israel?
Come to find out, they're covering that up. Okay, they are covering that up. One of the guys actually came forward, and we'll get into it. I do have that clip, and they told the truth that they basically had him out there, no type of protection. Like, this is insane.
We're outside the Armed Services Committee where Secretary of War Crimes is going to be asking Congress for $1.5 trillion for a Department of War budget, when instead Congress should be asking.
Again, it's way more money than what they're putting out here. And I'm going to show you guys that tonight. That $25 billion is way more. It's way more.
Him about his war crimes. Why did he target the girls' school in Iran on the first day of this illegal Iran war, killing over the use of AI in this targeting? Why did he order the dropping of bombs on boats in the Pacific and the Caribbean, killing over 150 people? They should be calling for his arrest, not fast-tracking more money for these war crimes. He should be arrested, not platformed in this building in Congress for more money.
Secretary Hegseth, why are you blocking Ukraine aid? Why?
Y'all hear that? Why are you blocking Ukraine aid? Remember the clip that I just showed you? They said Trump just released some of that because he was called out on it. Let's go.
Why are you stopping $400 million to Ukraine aid?
Why did you order the bombing of the school children? Why did you order the bombing?
How many American service members have to die for Israel? How many Iranian schoolgirls have to die?
Strategic aspects of this operation.
Now, this first clip is going to strictly talk about the objectives. I want y'all to hear what he had to say. We have not accomplished not one objective, not one.
In Iran. The president declared that we're going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. And after more than 13,000 strikes, unclassified assessments conclude that Iran retains more than 40% of its drone.
I want y'all to let me know, do he sound convincing that Congress would literally give them more money? We have so much stuff to replace. It's ridiculous. They cost millions of dollars.
Arsenal and 60% of its ballistic missile launches compared with pre-war levels. That's one of his objectives. The second objective was regime change. To the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand, and we will take over your government. Well, when we finish, we'll take over government. That has not succeeded. And then one of his other things is the onset of the war, the president said, we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. Military operations in Iran have not achieved that goal yet. And it also seems to indicate that his pronouncements about Operation Midnight Hammer obliterating the nuclear.
Yeah, remember? He said that they obliterated everything. That wasn't the truth. Because if so, we wouldn't be there now. Let's go. According to them.
Policy and structure of the Iranians was false. So you have not achieved any of the objectives yet that as the president mentioned.
Well, in this setting, I won't talk about the nature of metrics, which are classified, as you know, Senator, but I can.
He kept repeating the same answers. Yeah, this is crazy.
Can say that looking at the objectives we set out to achieve from the beginning, some of which you laid out, our military objectives have been stunningly effective. Take, for example, their defense industrial base. They're completely incapable at scale at any level of reconstituting the capabilities you referred to, which is a devastating result for any country, especially one whose ambitions are as wide as Iran's. So we've put the president in a very strong position to ensure Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. That's the take.
They even accused him of basically doing stuff behind Trump's back, hiring people that was not qualified. And we'll get into that.
Way that's been underneath every single aspect of this. For 47 years, Iran's trying to blackmail its way to a nuclear weapon. They were closer than ever before because of bad deals under previous administration. President Trump was willing to do something.
Yeah, I hear that right there. He brought this up about 10 times. I swear.
About it and not allow their conventional missile shield. That's the North Korea strategy. That's, to be clear, what Iran was pursuing. Hiding their nuclear ambitions, revealing them over time, and then building a conventional shield.
Number-wise, he knew nothing. You understand? Nothing.
Of missiles so powerful that no country would challenge them for fear of what would happen if they unleashed that arsenal. Weekend after the 12-day war in Midnight Hammer, which did obliterate their sites, President Trump saw an opportunity because their ambitions continued to ensure that umbrella of nuclear blackmail did not allow them to get to a nuclear weapon. And the world is safer because of his bold and historic choice.
Mr. Secretary, I think that's rhetorical, but not factual. Thank you.
All right, let's go.
Secretary Hegseth, you have been lying to the American public about this war from day one, and so has the president. You have misled the public about why we are at war. You and the president have offered ever-changing reasons for this war. You've misled the public about the progress of the war.
They don't even talk about regime change anymore. Have you guys heard? I haven't heard them say it in a while.
While the military has executed this war with tactical success, the strategy has been an astounding incompetence, doing immense economic damage to America.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, with the personal attack on the secretary, he should have an opportunity to respond.
He certainly will.
No, at the time you're doing it.
It's the gentleman's time. He can use it as he sees fit and add an extra 5 seconds to Mr. Garamendi's time.
Thank you. You and the president are ever-changing reasons for the war. You have misled the public about the progress of the war. While the military has executed this war with tactical success, the strategy has been an outstanding example of incompetence. This war of choice is a political and economic disaster at every level. Despite the president's promise to lower the cost of living, gas prices are up 40% and inflation is soaring so much for lowering the cost of living. The president has got himself and America stuck in the quagmire of another war in the Middle East. He's desperately trying to extricate himself from his own mistakes. It is in America's and indeed the world's interest that he succeed in that.
Helicopters. Mr. Secretary, I want to ask about the Army Apache helicopter that flew over Kid Rock's property on March 28th.
Now remember, gang, the first time they flew over his house, and then last week they took him, Kid Rock, on a joyride. So we're going to get into that. Let's listen to what Pete had to say.
An investigation was launched by the 101st Combat Aviation Brigade Command leadership, but before that review is completed on March 31st, you terminated it via social media post. Did you personally direct termination of that review?
Remember, they got into trouble, and he terminated the investigation.
I did. Okay. Now, the president said they probably shouldn't have been doing it, and that I'd take a look at it. So did you talk to the president before terminating that review?
Well, I don't relay what I...
You hear that? He's stuttering. So he's doing what he want to do, regardless of what President Trump say. He's doing what he want to do. Let's go.
Talk about.
Okay, I think unfortunately that means that you did talk to him, which in turn means that you've just confirmed the president himself overruled the leadership of the 101st Airborne. Mr. Secretary, you yourself have affirmed repeatedly the need for higher standards and higher accountability at every level of your agency. Commanders rely on established processes to uphold these standards. How does canceling a command-initiated review by the 101st Airborne leadership support a culture of accountability? Actually, I think I'll ask that of the chairman.
Sir, back to my earlier comments about the importance of...
You can tell he was uncomfortable, and that laugh was not, it was a nervous laugh. Let's just say that.
In my role of staying in the middle. What you're alluding to is, in my assessment, with deep respect for your ask, is a partisan question, and I think it would be inappropriate for me to answer that.
Sir, I actually don't think...
Again, they danced around answers. They were not straight up about anything, and they did not know any numbers when it came down to dollars and cents.
It is. I think it is actually a very fundamental principle of accountability in our department, and I think it was the wrong decision. I'm going to close by just saying one thing. Mr. Secretary, you started this hearing by politicizing it, and I want to make...
Diamond Gang, please and thank you. I got 252 in the building. Can I please get 43 more likes? I need 43 more likes. Please and thank you. It helps me stay in the algorithm. If you would like to support the channel, this channel is not monetized. The Cash App is pinned. Thank you.
one point. Poll after poll shows that the American public does not support this war, and support is dropping every day. We are all representing our constituents, which is our constitutional duty. And to state that we are politicizing it is an affront to Congress and every member in this House. And I yield back.
You are politicizing it, Congressman.
The gentleman's time is
to Secretary Hegseth and General Kane. The War Powers Resolution specifies that a war
Now, we're going to get into the War Powers Resolution, where actually he should have went to Congress. They are almost out of time, which means that they will have to go to Congress and ask for an extension. Let's go, Diamond Gang. Listen up. Thanks for hitting the like. I appreciate those that hit the like.
Initiated by a president without congressional approval must be concluded within 60 days. It can be extended.
We are at day 62. You hear that? So if it's going to extend, he needs to go to Congress. He didn't even think about this. I believe that they were just going to keep it moving. Then he made up his own rule, his own law. They're like, no, it don't work like that. Just because there's a ceasefire don't mean that the time stops. That's what he said, y'all.
Ended by an additional 30 days if, quote, the president determines and certifies to Congress in writing that unavoidable military necessity respecting the safety of the U.S. Armed Forces requires the continued use of such armed forces in the course of bringing about a prompt removal of such forces. We're right at the 60-day deadline. Is the president intending to either seek congressional authorization for the war in Iran or send us the legally required certification that he needs an additional 30 days to remove U.S. forces from the war?
Just briefly on the previous question, we do know that these are designated.
Let me tell y'all something. I told you he was in the military briefly. He got put out.
Designated terrorist organizations, so we treat them like the Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere, just as a note.
But that was not the question I asked.
I know there's more to that question.
He kept deflecting. Let me take that back. That has nothing to do with what he asked him. Let's go.
Hegseth and General Kane. The War Powers Resolution specifies that a war initiated by a president without congressional approval must be concluded within 60 days. It can be extended by an additional 30 days if, quote, the president determines and certifies to Congress in writing that unavoidable military necessity respecting the safety of the U.S. Armed Forces requires the continued use of such armed forces in the course of bringing about a prompt removal of such forces. We're right at the 60-day deadline. Is the president intending to either seek congressional authorization for the war in Iran or send us the legally required certification that he needs an additional 30 days to remove U.S. forces from the war?
Just briefly on the previous question, we do know that these are designated terrorist organizations, so we treat them like the Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere.
What do that got to do with anything? It's okay for you guys to do what you want to do?
Just as a note.
But that was not the question I asked.
I know there's more to that question. I just think it's important for the public to understand that. There's no willy-nilly targeting of drug boats. We know exactly who these people are affiliated with.
I was asking about what's on the boats.
On Iran, ultimately, I would...
He went back to a previous question. I mean, he tap danced around these answers. This is crazy. But you think that they're going to be willing enough to give you this money and you couldn't even tell them how much it was costing us?
I would defer to the White House and White House counsel on that. However, we are in a ceasefire right now, which our understanding means the 60-day clock pauses or stops in a ceasefire. They're not in. Yeah. It's our understanding, just so you know.
Okay, well, I do not believe the statute would support that. I think the 60 days runs maybe tomorrow. And
y'all hear him make up his own rule to the game? You can't make this up.
I'm going to pose a really important legal question for the administration. We have serious constitutional concerns, and we don't want to layer those with additional
This is why King Charles said what he said in his speech.
statutory concerns. I yield back, Mr. Chair.
The price of gas is twice as expensive in California, your home state, as anywhere else in the country because of the horrible policies your state pursued.
You know what? It used to be that type of stuff worked, and then you started to lose the people that you campaigned you wanted to be for, because you said you wouldn't get us into bad wars. You said you would bring down the prices. You know what I'm sad for? I'm sad for all the people who voted for Trump. I'm sad for them because you betrayed them. You betrayed a lot of that MAGA base. And you know who knows that? J.D. Vance knows that. You know how much?
I brought that clip specifically. He said, because you know who knows that? J.D. Vance know that. I told you guys, I've been saying this. He's been missing. He hasn't been vocal on this war because he don't like it. He don't like what's going on. What's today? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. I showed you guys where he brought concerns that he believed that Hegseth was lying and was not briefing President Trump on what was really going on. About a month ago, I showed you guys they were literally briefing the president with 2-minute clips showing us blowing things up. So they had this man in the dark when it comes to certain things. Hegseth, something else, a snake.
It will cost Americans in terms of their increased cost in gas and food over the next year because of the Iran war?
I would simply ask you what the cost is of an Iranian nuclear bomb.
I'm going to give you that.
He said, what is the cost of a bomb? An Iranian nuclear bomb. What does that have to do with how much is it costing us to fund this war? He is deflecting because he don't have the damn answer. Can I please get 17 more likes, please and thank you.
I would simply ask you what you're playing gotcha questions about domestic things. I'm not.
You're saying it's a gotcha question to ask what it's going to be in terms of the increase.
Why won't you answer what it costs to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear bomb?
I give you that, sir. But let me.
What would it cost? What would you pay to ensure Iran doesn't get a nuclear bomb? What would you pay?
I reclaim my time. Do you not know? You had no one do the analysis of what the increased cost of gas and food on the American people are going to be?
This is why our stockpile is running low. This is why. We got the blind leading the blind in this mother effer. The blind leading the mother effing blind. Let's go.
What is the cost of Iran holding that strait at issue with nuclear weapons?
It's $631 billion, which means it's an increase of 5,000.
Look at him. Look at him.
$1,000 a year for American households. Now, let me give you this point. You're saying that your operation is preventing a nuclear Iran.
Let me be clear. I don't mean no harm when I do what I do. I'm just passionate, and it's taking everything out of me to watch this. This is how sick I get sometimes.
Will you acknowledge that there is an economic cost to the American people for doing what you believe is necessary to make Iran denuclear? Will you acknowledge the economic cost?
We have an incredible economic team that's managing this better than what the previous administration did for our economy.
What
the previous administration did for the inflation.
You know what's upsetting? I reclaim my time.
COVID, and you're going to elect this administration about the economy.
He's talking about COVID. This man is deflecting. You can't make this up. This is horrible. Okay, let's go.
I mean, you know what is upsetting?
Incredible.
You didn't even do the analysis on how much it's costing the American people. It's one thing if you said, okay, it costs the American people $5,000, but we think it's worth it. That's what we've done in World War II and other wars. Here's what it costs. You got to pay for it. You don't even know what the average American is paying. You don't know what we paid in terms of the missile.
He don't know, and he don't give a damn. He don't care. He act like this is, I don't even know a name of a game. He act like he playing PlayStation. when it comes to this.
That hit the Iranian school. You don't know what we're paying in terms of gas. You don't know what we're paying in terms of food. Your 25 billion number is totally off. It's the incompetence. It's the incompetence.
That part right there. And that's the problem that I have with this administration. Period.
Let me ask you this. Certainly, maybe here we'll find agreement. There was still 440 pounds of low enriched uranium, correct, when President Obama, after the JCPOA? Is that accurate? The amounts and types are classified. Okay.
That's his favorite answer. It's classified.
Will you acknowledge that there were 970 pounds of uranium enriched after Trump tore up the JCPOA? The JCPOA was a terrible deal.
He don't know because they never looked at it. They just tore it up. But guess what? The deal that they putting together mocks it. It mocks it. This is insane. Let's go. They don't even know what they tore up.
Allowed Iran a path to a nuclear bomb.
You appointed him as special advisor. Is that right?
I'd have to check.
You don't know?
I mean, anybody that is
now he's talking about who he has appointed as a special advisor does not have the background. He don't even know. So you just hired him? Like, what the hell is going on? Listen, y'all, listen to this.
Access to sensitive material is going to have the appropriate clearance.
Okay, so when you appointed him as special advisor, he had a security clearance?
You're trying to piece together a time.
No, I'm asking a simple question. One of your special, most sensitive advisors, did he have a security clearance?
No, you're playing a gotcha game like you do on TV and everywhere else. You're trying to thread together details that are connected about something else.
Clearly, you're concerned about my line of questioning, aren't you, Mr. Secretary? Because you know where it's going, don't you? I think you do.
They tore his ass up. I can't say it no other way.
So, does Mr. Parlatore...
I don't normally cuss. They got his ass.
Represent foreign governments. He has a private law practice, does he not?
From what I understand of his law practice, he does a lot of great work for service members in the military and other.
He maintains a private law practice. Does he represent foreign governments or foreign persons in that private law practice?
I don't know.
You don't know. Somebody who's sitting in your meetings, a special advisor, you don't know. Does he represent any senior officers who are currently under consideration for promotion by you or your office?
The only person that makes determinations about senior officers is me.
Answer the question. Does he represent senior officers who are under consideration for promotion by you?
No, I'm the one that makes decisions about choosing.
Does he represent them, Mr. Secretary? Does he represent them?
He doesn't represent anyone. He's a legal advisor and always has been.
But he has clients, does he not?
He's a legal advisor to me
This is crazy.
On reserve duty, and he always has been, and he does a fantastic job.
Is it true that Mr. Parlatore was removed? I reclaim my time. Is it true that Mr. Parlatore was removed from an investigation by the White House last year?
I don't know what you're referring to, but not that I'm aware of.
You're not aware of it. Was it true that you were also removed from that same investigation? The answer is yes.
No, not that I'm aware of.
You hear that? So this is what they got going on in the White House. Okay? They have a group of people that basically don't have the background, experience, knowledge, and they're just doing whatever they want. They're doing whatever they want. Nor clearances. Let's go.
One of our surviving soldiers told CBS.
Now, this is about the soldier that I told you about that told the truth about what happened. This breaks my heart because he literally basically called them liars. I need 13 more likes, gang. I got 257 in the building. Please and thank you to get me to 100 likes at least.
Quote, painting a picture that one squeak through is a falsehood. Another said the unit was, quote, unprepared to provide any defense for itself.
Y'all hear that? Let's go back. These soldiers came forward, had them out there in the open. Hold on. This is crazy. Let's go.
One of our surviving soldiers told CBS, quote, painting a picture that one squeaked through is a falsehood. Another said the unit was, quote, unprepared to provide any defense for itself. It was not a fortified position. Another survivor said the building's protection was about as weak as one gets. Secretary Hegseth.
They had them out there with no protection. 6 soldiers is going behind that. Do you know that they are concealing the numbers of deaths and injuries? Let's go.
That is obviously in direct contradiction to what you said from the Pentagon podium the next day. So are you saying that these soldiers, our soldiers who survived this horrific attack, are lying?
What I'm saying is before the commencement of the conflict, we put in maximum defensive posture. We could.
That's a direct
We moved 70.
what they said.
In this directing, can I speak, or are you just going to monologue falsehoods all over the place?
It's not a falsehood.
We moved 7,500 troops off of the
Reclaiming my
X
time.
based on the intel.
Stop.
Based on the intel.
Stop. Reclaiming my time.
Because you yell doesn't make you right. Just because you yell doesn't make you right.
I'm reclaiming my time on behalf of these survivors. You just said what they said is a falsehood.
There's a much larger picture.
True?
There's a much larger picture at play here that included integrated air defenses, bunkers, moving.
They told the truth. He called these soldiers liars.
People off
Then
the
why,
X
Mr.
to
Secretary,
ensure
are
that they
they
were
dead?
not part of the target. We moved those troops and all across the theater, thousands of troops off the X, off of their bases, because we knew what Iran was going to try to strike, and we knew there could be a tragic moment.
No
there could be a
answer, Mr.
tragic moment where
Secretary.
something
Again.
could get through. Of
Again.
course, that's the
I'm
consequence of
reclaiming my
conflict,
time.
and we
Again.
remember those.
Y'all hear that? That's the consequences of conflict. That could be your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your brother, your cousin, your sister. I'm just saying. Wake up, people.
Every single day.
I want to finish.
But don't play games with.
I'm not playing games. I
raising your
want to
voice
finish
and
with
pointing
one more
fingers.
quote from a survivor of the attack. And I'll put this on the record. Telling the truth is important. And we're not going to learn from these mistakes if we pretend these mistakes didn't happen. Secretary Hegseth, those soldiers told the truth. Those soldiers are braver than you are.
I commend
They are asking for accountability. They deserve accountability. And I'm asking.
So they're asking our government for accountability. Y'all heard what he said. Those are the consequences. This shit is insane and it angers me.
For the same, starting with you. And as I said a year ago, you need to resign immediately.
I can
Reclaiming my
based
time.
on the intel.
Stop.
Based on the intel.
Stop. Just shrapnel all over, bleeding from arms, bleeding from legs. Do you know who said that?
I'm not sure I do.
It was one of our soldiers describing the devastating Iranian drone strike at Port Shuaibah, March 1st in Kuwait. Internal analysis had said the site was indefensible, yet you sent out.
Indefensible. Indefensible.
Our soldiers there anyway. Is that true or false? True or false? Straightforward question.
Are you going to give me a chance to answer or just play gotcha?
Did you send them there or not?
We took proactive measures
I'll take that
from the
as a yes
beginning
and
to ensure
reclaim my
force
time.
protection.
So let's be clear, no counter drone capabilities, no counter rocket systems, no counter mortar or counter artillery, not even the basic overhead protection that you and I had 20 years ago in Iraq. And now.
Bingo. He basically put them out there with nothing on. This is crazy. Ugh.
6 of our soldiers are dead.
Mr. Secretary, you keep saying that he is the best commander in chief we've ever had.
Now we're going to get into the questioning about President Trump. Let's go.
The best negotiator.
To the troops.
13 American troops have died. More than 380 have been wounded. The Strait of Hormuz, which was wide open, is now closed. Less than 90% of traffic through the strait is still not going despite the ceasefire. The Iranian regime is still in power. It still has nuclear material. The war is costing Americans billions of dollars. And Mr. Secretary, if you think that this is what winning looks like, then maybe we should be questioning your mental stability. Maybe you are the one responsible for this.
He's laughing like this is funny. This shit is not funny.
Failure, and the president should think about replacing you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Did you advise the president that we should attack Iran?
He danced around this. I'm going to tell you guys again. He was not advised from any military personnel. It was Witkoff, him, Kushner, and Bibi.
First of all, in this position,
AKA Netanyahu, when they made that decision, that is who was in the room. All right?
in the cabinet, we never talk about what we would advise the president to do or not.
Do you think the president or you deserve more?
I've been in every meeting.
I understand
with
that,
the chairman and everybody else as those
Secretary, I'm asking
decisions were made, and he got every perspective possible when it came.
I'm just asking what your perspective is. Are you afraid to take ownership of this? Do you think it was a good idea or not?
As I've consulted the president, do I think it's a good idea to confront a nuclear bomb in the hands of the? Imagine what the world would look like right now if Iran had a nuclear weapon.
Okay, so let's
just imagine.
Which, by the way,
if they had one, which the Obama deal was going to allow them,
including the first Trump.
Here we go, bringing up something that happened, Obama. But just what if it? This is crazy.
Administration
they had one.
Prevented them from having a nuclear weapon. So, listen, how is this war going? Do you think we're winning?
Militarily on the battlefield, it's been an astounding military success.
No, but are we winning the war?
Absolutely.
Okay, so do you call Iran closing the Strait of Hormuz winning?
Well, I would say the blockade that we hold that doesn't allow anything to come in or out of Iranian ports.
Okay, so
always
right, which means nothing's getting in and out. Everybody's suffering globally. Like, what the hell?
So we've blockaded their blockade. So they blockaded us, and then we blockaded their blockade. That's like saying, tag, you're it. Or, you know, if President Madison had said, well, the British just burned down Washington, but don't worry, we're going to burn it down as well. At the end of the day, this also has a cost to us. If let's say this war costs $100 billion, I mean, you've already said, give us more time. It's only been 2 months. It could go on for 20 years like Iraq and Afghanistan. Let's just say it costs $100 billion. What is that to the average American taxpayer? Do you have any idea?
Well, unlike foolish previous administrations, it won't go on.
No, I'm just asking
for years and decades.
But let's just say
he will not answer not one damn question about how much it's going to cost.
Sitting in this position, it's hard to imagine how
you know that?
We've allowed those things to happen. You were a part of that
the
war.
answer to that?
So was I.
I'm just asking if you know what your war costs the average American taxpayer.
What is the cost of Iran having a nuclear weapon that they wield?
Bingo. This is the third time he said that since I've been showing clips, and he went 6 hours yesterday. So just imagine if I would have retrieved pieces of each line of questions from Congress. No telling how many times he would have said it. Thank you, Diamond Gang, for hitting the like. I appreciate you guys. If you would like to support the channel, the Cash App is pinned.
Asking if you know the cost of the average American
taxpayer. I'm asking you what the cost
would be of that. So for the American taxpayers out there, my constituents, some of the constituents you wanted to represent in Minnesota, I'm just wondering if they have an extra $600 lying around to pay for your war. I think that's just a question that we ought to ask. Now, quickly, on March 13th in a press conference, you said we will give them no quarter, no mercy. In order
that right there, he did not answer. They asked him again today. Do you guys realize that is considered a war crime? Him saying that even if they surrendered, that we still wouldn't give them mercy. We would basically unalive them. That's a war crime. But let's go. He would not answer it because he knows that. He knows it. He danced around this shit. Let's go. Bring it back some. I'm going to let y'all hear it.
Now, quickly, on March 13th in a press conference, you said we will give them no quarter, no mercy. In order for no quarter or no survivors is a war crime under the Geneva Conventions. You understand that's murder. Do you stand by that statement?
The Department of War fights to win, and we ensure that our warfighters have the rules of engagement necessary to be as effective
Okay, so
as
just to
humanly
be clear,
possible.
you
which
called
they are.
Democratic members of Congress to be tried for sedition for reminding our troops to follow the law. But when you tell them to commit a war crime, you stand by yourself.
For insinuating that the laws that we're giving them are unlawful.
Time's expired. Chair now recognizes.
Diamond gang. Let's go.
Exactly the numbers you're
Mr.
talking
Hegseth,
about.
you have testified that American taxpayers need to know where their dollars are going. And as you sit here today, you can't provide us with a basic answer to the most simple question that you should be able to answer to each and every American
You're asking a
taxpayer.
question to an answer with an answer you already have.
No, I'm asking you for a breakdown where you said you will be accountable for every taxpayer dollar. You cannot tell us where any of $25 billion in taxpayer funds that have
Diamond gang, I'm going to tell you this again. 25 billion is not the true number. I will show you guys. It's a lot more. It's a lot more. Just hang on tight. Hang tight.
have gone to fund your war of choice in Iran.
We have not yet received from the Pentagon the costs of the war. So just for the record, we'd like to get that as soon as possible. Certainly the munitions expended, but also underreported is we've had a fair amount of equipment destroyed, including 2 C-130s with the rescue of our downed airmen.
Which costs millions to get fixed.
So do you have either A, a cost estimate coming to us anytime soon, or B, a specific supplemental request?
Thank you for that question. So approximately at this day, we're spending about $25 billion on Operation Epic Fury. Most of that is munitions. There's part of that is obviously O&M and equipment replacement. We will formulate a supplemental through the White House that will come to Congress.
That is not true. And I'm going to show you guys that is not a true number.
Once we have a full assessment of the cost of the conflict.
Sure. So you're saying the full cost at this point is $25 billion?
Yeah, that's our estimate for the cost.
Okay. Interesting, because I'm glad you answered that question, because we've been asking for a hell of a long time and no one's given us the number.
I saw your hearing yesterday, and I'm going to give you one more chance to address
Pay attention. They're going to ask him again.
a question here. It's my understanding that the definition of no quarter is that legitimate offers of surrender will be refused, or that detainees will be executed.
He literally said that. I know you guys remember when it first started.
Is that your understanding of the definition?
The only entity that would kill detainees or target civilians is the Iranians, and they're the ones being crushed.
So
It's the Iranian
Once again, deflecting.
military and their military capability.
The question is,
I disagree completely with your articulation.
No, do you understand the definition that I just read you? Because that's the definition from your department's law of war manual. Is that your understanding? And I'm gonna just get to the point here.
We fight to win and we follow the law, Senator.
Okay, so
That's not following the law. That's not following the law, sir, saying stuff like that.
your quote was, "We will keep pushing, keep advancing, no quarter, no mercy for our enemies." And yesterday, you did not clarify whether you stand by this statement. So I'm going to give you another opportunity to clarify if that is what you meant. Do you stand by that statement you made on March 13th?
We have untied the hands of our warfighters. We fight to win, and we follow the law.
Okay, so you're not clarifying. So you stand by that statement. So you're the Secretary of Defense. The things you say matter. And your response here, right now, makes it clear to the American people exactly why you are not right for this job.
It makes it clear to
I'm telling you, they already started the articles of impeachment for him. Once Patel is gone, he will be next. I guarantee it, in my opinion.
our enemies, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
There were two news items that we've picked up on so far. The first is the cost of this war to date. A top Pentagon budget official is.
Now I'm going to show you guys why it's more than the $25 billion. Let's go.
Also in the room there with Secretary Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Dan Kane. And he was asked by the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, how much has this cost to date? And he said, so far since the start of this conflict with Iran, it has cost the American people, the Pentagon, $25 billion. Obviously, that goes up by the day, but the cost to date has been $25 billion. And also Adam Smith, the top Democrat on that panel, then turned to Pete Hegseth and asked him some questions about the overall rationale and justification for this conflict with Iran. The administration has said that Iran posed an imminent threat because it had nuclear capabilities, and that Adam Smith pointed out that the U.S. had struck Iran just...
Which there was no proof of that. None. No intelligence told him that. President Trump said he had a gut feeling. Netanyahu had a conversation with him. Kushner.
About a year ago, last June, and hit nuclear facilities in Iran, some of them buried underground, and in the administration's words at the time, obliterated them. And he said, how can you have an imminent threat of a nuclear Iran if you had, as of last summer, in the press?
Exactly. So how? How? If you obliterated everything last year in June, where was the threat coming from? Where?
President's telling obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities, and he and Hegseth sparred back and forth on that point.
Remember, Gabby couldn't answer this question either. Remember?
For a little bit, and ultimately Hegseth...
She lost her job as well.
Said that it was Iran's nuclear ambitions that still propelled the U.S. to act here and to draw into this conflict with Iran. Here's a little bit more of what Hegseth said in terms of the administration's overall justification. These are from his opening remarks.
President Trump, unlike other presidents, has had the courage to ensure Iran...
So that's it. That's your answer. Not that there was a threat, but President Trump had the courage. That's crazy.
Never gets a nuclear weapon, and he's ironclad in that. We have the best negotiator in the world driving that deal. The biggest challenge, the biggest adversary we face at this point are the reckless.
You said President Trump said he would dig it up. What a moron. Here's the thing. If it has to be dug up under that rubble, and President Trump has also said, because of the bombing, some of that may not even be useful now. Moron.
Feckless and defeatist words of congressional Democrats and some Republicans.
Striking there to hear him say that what lawmakers say about this war on both sides of the aisle is adversarial and defeatist. Worth pointing out here, as of the end of this week, this conflict with Iran will have gone on for 60 days, and even some...
She was fired a while back. Tariq, you don't remember that? She was terminated right after Kristi Noem. Remember, she went to Congress and couldn't answer none of the questions, just like Pete Hegseth? She was terminated around then.
Republicans at this hour saying that there should perhaps be congressional action to authorize it. Congress has never had a vote to authorize this military action in Iran.
Comptroller said the war only cost...
Now pay attention. This is it right here. He's going to tell you the other costs that they didn't add on to that $25 billion. Let's go.
$25 billion. Does that seem low to you?
Yes, I am frankly certain that that is low. It depends how he's defining costs. It is possible that that is one component of the total cost of the war, but I think it is not.
One component. One component.
Not possible that that covers all what you and I would understand in any common understanding of the costs of the war. How much it costs to move tens of thousands of soldiers and sailors and airmen, to deploy munitions, to hold them on station for now almost 2 months, and to pay for, healthcare and food and fuel and so forth. It may be that it's 25 billion.
He said healthcare and food. They're barely eating. I showed you guys their trays. They're barely eating. They are rationing out food. A soldier lost 17 pounds already.
billion in munitions that have been dropped, but that is not the total cost of a war by any understanding.
Did we go to war?
So again, they don't even know the cost. This is crazy.
Not because of the reality on the ground, but because of ambitions that the Iranians may have had?
Well, you're not going to win a war if you didn't go. If what you're going to do is try to fight people's ambitions. I mean, you got to start at the end and work backwards. Figure out what the end state is, and then allocate the resources necessary to accomplish it. It would appear that that was not accomplished here. Either we wanted to destroy their nuclear capability, or we want to eliminate their desire to have nuclear weapons. We've apparently done the former. It's going to be extremely difficult for anybody to get that stuff out of the ground. We've got
Bingo. Bingo. So if we bombed it last year, and it's damn near nearly impossible to get that shit out of the ground, what did we bomb them for in March? Huh? Or February? There was no threat.
eyes on it all the time. If the Iranians decide to unearth that stuff, we can attack them.
Again, they were in the 6 rounds of negotiation when Israel decided to bomb them. They, at that time, said that they were willing to give them what they had to dilute it and to sell it as something else. That was the deal. And Israel bombed them, and we followed suit.
And while they're trying to do it, it would take months, if not years, to unearth that stuff.
Months, if not years, to unearth it. And when they unearth it, more than likely they won't even be able to do nothing with it.
So that part of the mission, one would think, would be accomplished. If what you want to do is eliminate Iranian ambitions to have nuclear weapons, indeed, if what you want to do is eliminate Iranian ambitions to do anything, you got to do a heck of a lot more than we've been doing, and you can't leave yourself in a standoff like we are.
Right now, at this point, because he tore up Obama's deal, we don't even have anybody overseeing what they're doing. Remember, we had a bunch of scientists over there monitoring what they were doing. Once Trump tore that deal up, we had no clue. None. So who told them? Or was it just a wild speculation or guess?
Now, where Iran controls the strait, there's no commerce going through, and they still have the capability to do whatever they want to do. We have to remember that the Iranians don't have the kind of political support. They don't require the kind of political support or constituency that we do. They can continue to do whatever they want to do with no fear that they're going to be out of office anytime soon. So if you really want to do what Hegseth is talking about, then you really need to land lots of ground troops, spend a long time killing the Republican guards, and then seizing control of a country that's got 90 million people. We're not going to do that.
That part, 90 million people, 900,000 military. We're not going to do that.
So it would appear that Hegseth doesn't know what he's talking about.
Do we know whether uranium actually is at the moment?
Now let's talk about the uranium and where it is, and do we even know? Let's go.
But we knew, and we think we know. The most of this stockpile was, for the most part, in a big nuclear compound, which is called Isfahan, near the city of Isfahan. It was there. It was stocked there at the time of the 12-day war last year. So it is believed that that the consensus of the community is that it is still there. Even the Iranians have said that it is. So yeah, that's the situation.
Is there any enriched uranium above ground that the Iranians could access, and if so, at what enrichment level?
There could be some amounts in another site, which is called Natanz. But I think both, even the underground and the.
We could have walked away with it all. We could have walked away with it all. Again, 6 rounds of negotiation. They had agreed to give up what they had so it could be diluted. Israel bombed first. We followed suit. We could have had this.
Above ground, which is a smaller quantity, would be accessible in case there was a wish to be there, to go there.
So what do you think the appropriate solution should be? Is there an off-ramp where maybe some of this could be moved to a third-party country?
Well, there is a negotiation. So it is for those negotiating to determine what they want or what they can achieve together in this process. It is, of course, clear that the issue of this.
So now we're at the point where they said, okay, we'll dilute it. We'll give it to you guys, or we'll sell it as something else. And we didn't go for it, and we bombed them. And now we're in this war to where, okay, remove the blockade. We could come to the table and we could talk about it. To now they're threatening us. So once again, we are back at freaking square one. Why?
Material must be addressed somewhere or another, and there are different alternatives that have been considered, shipping it out, down blending it, and so it is for them to decide.
I want to ask you about how the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, opened. He said the biggest threat right now is not Iran, it is Democrats and their naysaying.
He was definitely deflecting
of this war. What is your reaction?
Well, I mean, how wrong can you be, right? Anybody who had a basic understanding of the workings of the United States government knows that the Congress has a role to play of oversight. That means we ask tough questions, a role to play in authorizing war. This is not controversial. It is in the Constitution. And it's country. He thinks about what's the next political point I can score by taking on the Democrats. Look, it was there for all to see. And part of the reason there's so much emotion with Pete Hegseth is that he knows that this war is corroding the political standing of
that part. President Trump's ratings is so low, very low. Democrats are flipping seats. Yeah, they're in panic mode.
The one person he has some loyalty to, and that's Donald Trump.
King Charles's speech to a joint.
All right, that's it on the war. We're going to get into King Charles's speech once again. Him basically, speaking on checks and balances. Let's get into it.
Session of Congress is front page news here in the UK. It's being hailed as a success, with one paper even going so far as to call it a diplomatic masterclass. But the speech also contained what could be interpreted as rebukes to President Trump and the way that he exercises power.
The US Supreme Court Historical Society has calculated that Magna Carta is cited in at least 160 Supreme Court cases since 1780.
And he basically told President Trump, there's checks and balances put in place for a reason.
9, not least as the foundation of the principle that executive power is subject to checks and balances.
If you look closely, I think that applause caught the king by surprise. But he was making a point that reflects the view of many people here in the UK who are concerned by what they see in the US, and especially what you could term political violence.
Yeah, because our government is running rogue. They're just doing whatever. No rules apply to them.
The US is this country's most powerful ally. So what happens across the pond is profoundly important and influential here. Now, this is the second time a British monarch has addressed Congress. The last time was back in 1991. The king is a constitutional monarch with no power to decide policy, but he is a powerful diplomatic tool for the UK. And with the relationship somewhat strained because of the Iran war, Charles is also on a charm offensive. This line also went down particularly well with members of Congress.
The founding fathers were bold and imaginative rebels with a cause. 200.
Whoever wrote his speech did an excellent job.
Donald Trump's humiliation today was delivered to him by his guest of honor, the King of England, who for the first time in my life made me feel something.
He definitely checked him. He definitely checked Trump.
Something akin to gratitude to a British monarch and outright awe for his speechwriters. The speechwriters had the task of telling the truth in a chamber where half of the members applaud and cheer Donald Trump's pathological lies. And today, the King of England and his speechwriters had those same Republicans applauding sharp criticism and complete disagreement with Donald Trump.
In the immediate aftermath of 9/11, when NATO invoked Article 5 for the first time, and the United Nations Security Council was united.
Diamond Gang, once we go over this, my last piece will be on Comey. I've told you guys another indictment, but I want you guys to hear from Comey's mouth how that whole thing came up with the seashells, okay?
In the face of terror, we answered the call together, as our people have done so for more than a century, shoulder to shoulder through 2 world wars, the Cold War, Afghanistan, and moments that have defined our shared security. Today, Mr. Speaker, that same unyielding resolve is needed for the defense of Ukraine and her most courageous.
He definitely got on him about Ukraine as well. Remember earlier in this live stream, President Trump didn't give him the aid money. He was called out on it, and then he gave it to Ukraine. He was holding it. Let's go.
Courageous people.
So he literally went over 2 things that Trump actually didn't care for. Checks and balances. He went right past Congress, and then as well as our allies. You know, Trump is talking about removing troops and things like that, and how they wasn't there for us.
It is needed in order to secure a truly just and lasting peace.
Standing ovation from J.D. Vance, who has said, I don't care about Ukraine. Standing ovation from those Republicans. And now we know you can get the Republicans in that room to applaud what reads like a Biden State of the Union address. You can get the Republicans in that room to applaud a speech that completely contradicts Donald Trump if the speech is delivered in a posh British accent. This was the day that I hope at least some high school kids were watching.
That part, everybody that stood up and clapped went against Donald Trump.
Watching American high school kids who have grown up in the dark shadow of Donald Trump, high school kids who in most of their lifetimes now have been living under a Donald Trump presidency filled with uncouth public profanity and rank stupidity and an inability to simply read the words put in front of him by his speechwriters and skip the idiotic ad-lib.
That part. So what he's basically saying is, why can't Trump be more like the king? Read what's in front of you. He don't do that.
My mother had a crush on Charles. Can you believe it? Amazing how, I wonder what she's thinking right now.
New criminal charges against a...
That wasn't in his speech, but he said it. He even made a joke, just like Jimmy Kimmel did, about him and his wife not making it that long as far as being married, because he's older. All right, now we're going to get into Comey's indictment. Like I said, I want you guys to hear from Comey's mouth the story of how they came about those seashells. And let me know if you guys believe me.
A leading perceived critic of President Trump. You may remember a judge threw out a previous indictment accusing former FBI Director James Comey of lying to Congress. Now, the Justice Department asserts this photo that
8647, he said that he did not place those shells in that order, but he walked up on it. Let's go.
Comey posted online threatened the president. 86 is a slang term. It can refer to getting rid or canceling something, and Trump is the 47th president. Comey denies that he was threatening the president and released this video message.
Well, they're back. This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go.
Only on CBS Mornings, acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche joins us. Mr. Blanche, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you have proof that the former FBI director knowingly and willfully threatened the life of the president?
I think the judge is going to throw this one out too, but let's go.
The grand jury indicted Mr. Comey yesterday. Grand juries hear evidence. That evidence is not something that anybody can talk about today. But when you talk about whether proof exists, the proof that we have is in the fact that the grand jury returned an indictment. Remember, that is not the Department of Justice charging James Comey with a crime. That is a grand jury returning a 2-count indictment.
Let's do a compare and contrast, Mr. Blanche. In 2022, someone well-known in right-wing circles, Jack Posobiec, posted...
Someone else did this, and they did nothing to him. Let's go.
On X, 8646. He did not take it down. He did not apologize. Mr. Comey has done both of those things. The Biden Justice Department never prosecuted him. By the standard of that grand jury, Jack Posobiec should face charges as well. Will the Justice Department pursue that case? Because they sound very similar.
That's just completely not true. That's not how a grand jury does its work. They don't just look at a single image and then say, okay, yes, we'll indict, or okay, no, we won't indict. They do an investigation. This conduct took place in May of last.
So this right here is telling me that they may have something else. Who knows? We'll see.
Year, May 15th. It has been almost a year. I assure you, the FBI, the Secret Service, and the U.S. Attorney's Office have not been sitting around doing nothing. They have been investigating. I have no idea whether there was an investigation into the other times that post has been made and whether that investigation yielded different results. This investigation that we undertook resulted in a 2-count indictment. So you cannot compare, well, what happened last time, what happened this time. Every investigation is different. You know that. The American people know that. A lot of factors going into whether go into whether somebody should or should not be charged. The mere fact that there's a similar photo posted or similar statement made, that's true. Every day there's comments made about President Trump, threats made against President Trump. Every one of those are not indicted. It depends on the facts of every.
You said, Allison, it's a reach. It will be thrown out. Bet. I think so too. I do. I think so too.
Every case.
Mr. Blanche, you lived this history much more than I did, but I'm going to paraphrase what you said about the hush money case that was brought in New York. You said at the time, supposedly serious people were bringing unserious charges and warping the language and the facts and the law because there was a political imperative beyond that.
You said he ex-head of the FBI. Stanley, you're saying the guy that had the 8646?
Are you telling the American people this morning that this is a serious case and this is a serious set of charges and that laws and facts are not being warped to carry out a political agenda?
Look at the indictment. That's not for me to decide.
You think it's weird? You said it is completely hilarious. Democrats are so proud. It wasn't just the Democrats. The Republicans was in that room. They gave him a standing ovation. It wasn't just Democrats in that room, sweetie.
That's for the American people to decide. And if anybody in this country thinks, especially what happened over the past couple of years with respect to President Trump, that it is okay for anybody to threaten the president of the United States, that it is okay to threaten the president of the United States and then have the media or others say, well, that's not serious, then we have a bigger problem than I even imagined in this country. Of course it's serious when you threaten the president of the United States, and anybody that tries to put forward some narrative that this is.
Okay, so you said, but Republicans wasn't the ones doing you don't know who was. There was a bunch of people down there. Matter of fact, there was a bunch of Republicans that said that they wish they never voted for him. Go back and look at the No Kings protest. There was Republicans down there.
Just about seashells or something to the contrary is missing the point. You cannot.
It was across the country, multiple states. If you think that there was not one Republican in that crowd, there was a bunch of them.
Threaten the president of the United States. That's not my decision. That's Congress's decision in a law that they passed.
And the ones that was there was loud and proud and basically denounced them and had much regret.
And so, yes, of course, this is a serious case.
Mr. Blanche, should the president of the United States in any way direct you to pursue this matter?
Of course not. Absolutely, positively not. And there's no suggestion that that's the case that happened.
You can say what you want. You just can't be disrespectful. Now you just got sniped. You just got sniped.
And the fact that we're doing our work, this is not something that just happened the past couple of weeks. This is something that has been investigated.
Yeah, there's thousands and thousands. I think my next live stream that I'll bring quite a few clips of them speaking out, saying how upset that they are. Buyer's remorse.
For nearly a year now, and the results of that investigation is a grand jury returned an indictment.
Critics of you and this administration, Mr. Blanche, have suggested this is an audition to become the nominee to be Attorney General. Is it?
I don't even know what that means. We work hard every single day. The Department of Justice returns over 100 indictments across this country every single day, making this country safe. And so this narrative, this idea out there that somehow I'm auditioning, I've worked for...
They say he's auditioning. Yeah.
President Trump for many, many years. I don't audition for this job. I've been the Deputy Attorney General for over a year. Okay, this is not an audition.
And you are confident this case will result in a conviction?
I do not comment on convictions, and no prosecutor ever.
I was going to say that would be crazy because the last one was dismissed by a judge.
Or should. What I'm confident about is that there's been a 2-count indictment returned, and Mr. Comey will get his day in court.
That part.
Todd Blanche, Acting Attorney General. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
James Comey.
Okay, now we're going to hear Trump speak on it, and then we'll hear James Comey tell exactly how the seashell picture came about.
Comey was in court. He self-surrendered. He's now been charged a second time, this time over a social media post with seashells that said 8647. Do you really think that he was endangering your life or threatening?
Next live stream, it will be horizontal. I will not, it won't be vertical and horizontal. Yeah.
Your life with that?
Well, if anybody knows anything about crime, they know 86. You know what 86? It's a mob term for kill 'em. You know, you ever see the movies? 86 'em. The mobster says.
So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I will be going, Sassy, I will be going horizontal, which means I will not be vertical. Next live stream.
One of his wonderful associates, 86 'em. That means kill 'em. It's, I think of it as a mob term. I don't know, people think of it as something having to do with disappearing, but the mob uses that.
No, not on Facebook. It's still on YouTube, but it's not vertical. It'll be like a video. Like you watch videos on YouTube, it'll look like that, but I'll actually be live, but just not vertical. It'll be horizontal.
That term to say when they want to kill somebody, they say 86, the son of a gun. I'm trying to keep the language nice and clear. They don't use that term, son of a gun. They use another term. But that's a mob term for kill him. Yeah.
Do you really think your life is in danger?
Probably. I don't know. You know, based on what I'm seeing out there, yeah, the people like Comey have created tremendous danger, I think, for politicians and others. Comey is a dirty cop. He's a very dirty cop. He cheated on the elections. He tried to help
Allegedly.
Hillary Clinton, as you know. He dismissed a
Yeah. Like it would be that way. This channel's it's not monetized right now. Actually, I got demonetized talking about this stuff right here. So yeah, I will be vertical. And I mean, not vertical, but horizontal. So this would strictly depend on fan funding via Cash App. And that's one of the reasons why I'm probably not going to be vertical anymore. But yeah. All right, let's go.
A lot of things that he should have proceeded with that I wasn't involved, but he should have proceeded with. No, he's a dirty cop. He's a crooked man. Yeah.
There he is. How are you, mate?
Now, he also had something to say in regards to Comey, and he had a few choice words. Let's go.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hey, I was wondering what you think about James Comey getting indicted for the second time.
Well, Comey should be indicted about every other day. Now, whether it's...
So if you do come over horizontal, you won't see any questions.
Drawing numbers on the beat.
I said any questions. I meant any commercials. Sorry.
If that's kind of weak, maybe not. But James Comey did a disservice to our country by weaponizing that agency to go after Donald Trump.
But specifically about the sea.
This is what this is about. He's still upset about that.
Seashells.
I get it. We are talking about the indictment.
But should he go to jail for the seashells?
No, I don't think you should go to jail for the seashells. That's just, like I said, I think the indictment's it's an indictment. You can indict a damn ham sandwich, quite honestly, little probable cause. I was a sheriff. I know a little bit about how to indict people. It's just, the fact is this. James Comey was that good for our country. He weaponized the FBI. I think he's garbage.
Right.
Garbage.
Right. Okay.
And now if it's payback, maybe, I don't know.
Payback's not a legal thing.
Listen, I just told you that I don't necessarily.
Listen, he's being honest, and they're like, what do they want from him?
Think that it's a strong indictment. We could indict him for other things related to the 2020 election and other things like that, 2016. The guy is he's not a good guy. He weaponized the agency to go after his political adversaries, his political foes, and it's just wrong.
So do you think the indictment on Comey is fair or not fair for this seashell incident?
I wasn't privy to all the case and the probable cause. I wasn't privy to that, so I don't know. I just. Have
you got a personal opinion, though?
Do I have a personal opinion? I think that I don't know how you're going to be able to convict him of it.
Okay.
I don't know how you're going to be able to get a conviction of it.
That part. More than likely, it'll be dismissed.
And what would that really
or thrown out?
Be? I mean, fighting words, is that what they are? I mean, you wrote it on there. A lot of people say a lot of stupid stuff, like your Jimmy Kimmel you were talking to me about the other day, that comedian guy.
Right.
I'm in bed by 9 o'clock, so I told you I don't even know who that guy is.
Right.
So the point is where does it stop, right?
But if this is just seashells on a beach, you know, and everybody says 86.
He was stupid, though. James Comey stupid.
Okay.
He's stupid.
Thank you very much.
So he believes that he did it, but he don't believe that it'll stick.
So much, man.
Take care.
Cheers.
We were walking on the beach. We went to the beach to prepare for this week, which was the launch
Now, this is the part I want you guys to tell me if you believe this story or not.
of my book, and to think about the book and to prepare to answer questions about it. And we were walking back towards the road, and we saw in the sand someone had arranged shells with numbers. And Patrice, my wife, said, "Why would someone put an address in the sand?" And I said, "I don't know." And we stood over it, and I said, "I think it's some kind of like political message." And she said, 86 when I was a server, she did a lot of work in restaurants, meant to remove an item from the menu when you ran out of ingredients. And I said, well, to me, as a kid, it always meant to leave a place, to ditch a place. I said, that's really clever. So then she said, you should take a picture of that. And I did. And I posted it on my Instagram account and thought nothing.
Put a 1 in the chat if you believe that story. Put a 2 in the chat if you think he made that up. Let me know. All right.
More of it until I heard through her that people were saying it was some sort of a call for assassination, which is crazy. But I took it down. I don't, even if I think it's crazy, I don't want to be associated with violence of any kind.
He claimed he took it down and apologized.
And then what happened?
I got a call from the Secret Service that night asking if I would speak to them about it. Of course. I admire the Secret Service. They're pros. I spoke to them on the phone. Then they asked the next day when I got home, would I be willing to come in and meet them in person at the Washington field office, which again, I did. And they were pros again.
That's it. I'm going to take some comments in the chat. So I think I got more 2s than anything. Okay, let's take a look, take some comments. Thanks for everybody that participated, and that was respectful. If anyone honestly thinks that a former FBI director and lifelong Republican is suggested assassinating the president, you're out of your freaking mind. He's triple glazing. He's lying. Nothing will happen to him. Hey, what's up, Michael Cox? What's going on? I don't think he arranged the seashells, but come on. I don't know, man. Now, when I heard this story, I'm like, is he lying? I hope not. But I'm going to do my homework on him because I want to see if he really was involved in all the stuff that they said he was. Weaponizing the department against people and stuff. Would you say, I'm not a mobster. I thought it meant to get rid of whatever. I guess it got different definitions depending on, you said I wouldn't blame him if he did. Yeah, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. I think I am going to do the next live stream horizontal. That way I will be able to get fan funding. When I go vertical, a lot of random people come in. They're not, what's the word I want to use? I can't even think of the word I want to use, but they come in and out. So some people will subscribe, some of them won't. Hold on. Comey is part of the reason people are what? You got to say unalive. Put unalive. Comey is Loke, the carnival game, weasels. Oh no, sticking head out fast and trying to hit it. Yeah, but if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you, Sassy. Yeah, that way, my monetization, I appealed the decision. We'll see what they say. It's almost 14 days. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? If I get it back, then I'll continue to go live vertical and horizontal. But if not, I'll probably just go horizontal so that I am able to get fan funding. Most of these people, they're coming in and out. The vertical world is different. They're not faithful. You know what I mean? Or they won't, So we'll see. We'll see. You said MAGA are insufferable people. Yeah, please, please, please tap that like. It keeps me in the algorithm. All right, I'm 2.5 hours in. I want to say thank you, guys. Thank you to all that hit the like. Thank you to all that subscribed. New and previous subscribers. I appreciate you guys. Big time. Keep your notifications on. Right. They're just swiping. So, you know what I'm saying? It's no loyalty. I can't get fan funding that way. You know what I'm saying? I could say, hit the cash app, but you know what I mean? These are just people just coming in and out. No, thank you for participating. Thank you, Sess. Yeah. Thank you for participating. I love it. As long as you're respectful, thank you, Michael. You could definitely disagree with me. I don't care. You just can't misspell the curse words and just don't be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? You could say whatever you want. You could say, I love Trump. Trump is the greatest president. I will even highlight your chat. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like that. I think everybody has a right to feel the way that they want to feel. But when I put those clips together in chronological order like I do, it's based off of my feelings. I'm going to be honest. It's based off of how I see what's going on and the best way that I feel that I can explain it. But you don't have to agree with me, Oh, don't say that. Now you're going to have my head big. Thank you, Sassy. Thank you. But, yeah, you can disagree with me. I don't care. You got that right, I drop the link from time to time, People come up, they speak their piece, as long as you're polite and don't do nothing crazy like try to P-bomb me or nothing like that. So, but I got to get up out of here. It is actually after 1 a.m. Here where I am on the East Coast. Listen, keep your notifications on. Subscribe to the channel. See, like this comment right here, Trump's the GOAT. I think you made a comment on one of my on my live stream. You made a comment on my live stream the other day. That's you. That is you. I remember the name, Black Onyx. He said Trump's the GOAT up under my live stream I did the other day. I was cracking up. I'm not going to lie. I be laughing too sometimes. But see, Michael Crosby, Trump is the GOAT. John said Trump is the worst ever. You said Trump got your pockets on swole? All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. Oh, thank you, Queen. You got to come back. Y'all better come back. Even you, Black Onyx. You got to come back too. All right, y'all. I got to get up out of here. Listen, be safe. Good night. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Queen. All right, y'all. Good night.
It's your under degrees. Sip on me. I'll pour it hot, so hot. I'll pour it sweet, so sweet. Spilling his tea, spilling and sipping his tea, spilling and sipping his tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your under degree, feeling great, spilling tea. Have a seat and join me. Sip some tea, unwind with me. Let's grab a snack and talk some smack. I'm your girl, I got your back. I got the news, I got the views. I bet you can't wait, I know you can't wait to sip this tea. Sip this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling and sipping this tea. Spilling this tea. Spilling and sipping 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 this tea. Thanks for watching me, tuning in, subscribing, hitting that like, smash that like. I don't bite, no. It's your line of degree, shining bright, set the stage. Hollywood dreams, red carpet scenes, glitter and glow, the secrets I know. Drama with flair, I serve it rare. I got the scoop, I got the proof. I know you can't wait, so come and escape and sip this tea. Sip with me, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling this tea, spilling and sipping this tea, spilling and sipping this tea.